To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. That is all. Oscar Wilde. I believe that in order to live as opposed to exist, you must do something different. Something that is out of the ordinary, and something that will impact your life forever. Northeastern University presented me with the chance to live by accepting me into their annual program. My name is Nicole Calamise, and I have had the fantastic opportunity to study my first semester abroad in Dublin, Ireland. We were shown the most exciting places in Dublin city centre. We were served at all the best restaurants, and we were brought on trips to all the perfect spots in Ireland. This was all thanks to the ISAs and the NUN staff. These experiences opened our eyes to living in Dublin. We were no longer just occupying space, but we were being influenced by the world around us. Living in Dublin has been anything but ordinary. About 130 of us were placed in a situation where we had to learn how to be independent in a place that many of us had never been before. It's nothing like living on a college campus where everything is freshman friendly. We were pushed to learn to deal with the real world right from the beginning. However, being placed in one of the friendliest, most interesting cities in the world was definitely working to our advantage.
It could happen to me. I guess we're all.
The trips to the many different spots in Ireland were priceless. We got a chance to see Howth, Galway, the Aran Islands, Sligo, and Northern Ireland. Every time we were exposed to a different part of Ireland, I had the same reaction. By looking all around me, I'd come to realize that Ireland has such a natural beauty. Sitting on the edge of the cliffs of Moher and looking out into the ocean, I got a rush of cool air and my mind cleared, and it was as if I was on a completely different planet. In that moment, I was living in the moment with no worries in my mind, thinking of nothing but the beautiful world that surrounded me and where I would be living for the next 4 months.
From so far away.
A great way we got integrated into our new city was by participating in service learning activities. Our first was volunteering at the biggest architectural exhibit throughout all of Dublin, called Open House Dublin. My favorite, though, was helping to clean up a great pop-up park in Dublin, Granby Park. Although in just a few short months this park would be replaced by apartment housing, we helped the local crew in painting and planting all around the park. This was a unique way to give back to the community, and I loved the creativity.
But I can't figure.
Aside from our weekend excursions, our weeks were filled to the brim with studies. But being on University College of Dublin's campus made the long days quite easy. UCD has about 25,000 students, and 5,000 of them were international. So you could say that we definitely weren't alone. We even had our own lounge. UCD worked hard to make our experience perfect in Dublin, and they succeeded. Another thing that made my UCD experience awesome was getting involved in the swim team. My teams were the hardest thing to leave behind, and the team here made me feel like I was back home again. Every morning to get to school, we had to take a bus for about 35 minutes. It really wasn't something to complain about because most of the time it was actually relaxing. One day I found myself truly absorbing my environment and looking at the buildings that I had passed every day but never stopped to look at. I looked out the window and I saw a traditional Irish pub, the Bachelor's Inn. And on the side of the pub, they had a quote that has shaped my trip to Dublin, and that will quite possibly shape the way I look at the rest of my life. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. That is all. Throughout this trip, I have learned to cook. I have learned to know when my hamper is overflowing and when it's time to take a trip to Tesco, our local grocery store. But what I have learned most importantly is how to live rather than exist. Northeastern has given me the opportunity to experience something incredible. Without this trip to Ireland, I would not truly understand or appreciate all that is around me and to react to it. This world is spectacular, and we cannot simply be taking up space in it, but we must live in it. But you cannot live in a world all by yourself. You need to have some pretty great friends to live with, and Dublin has given me that a million times over.
It's still not what I need, something beautiful. Hey now, this is my desire, consume me like a...
At 1:45 p.m. on March 28, 2013, I made one of the best decisions of my life. On that sunny spring day, sitting in my honors forensics class, I decided I would attend Northeastern University, and I will regret not one moment of these past 4 months of experience. Thank you Northeastern staff and students. Thank you Dublin, and most importantly, thank you Oscar Wilde on the side of the pub for helping me recognize the difference between living and existing.